Beautiful Thanksgiving week in the Metroplex. Tonight indoors, it's the Stars and the Oilers, and here are the guys going to try and beef up their stats a little bit here.
Yeah, Kari Lehtinen. Kari started all but one of the Stars' first dozen home games in a bit of a potpourri as far as the record here is concerned. And Victor Faust, 6 of the 8 games he has played for the Oilers have been on the road. He was very good against the Stars, well, an Anaheim Duck.
Tyler Seguin has 3 goals on the homestand so far, 8 goals in his last 8 games, an NHL leading 15 goals. He's 3rd in league scoring, 3 points back of Sidney Crosby and Jacob Voracek. And this should be fundraiser. The amount of skill on the ice here to start the game. Cody Eakin, Tyler Seguin, and Jamie Benn. It's Nugent Hopkins, Hall, and Eberle up front for the Oilers. Mark Fane with a pass ahead, partnered with Nikitin, Goligoski, and the kid Klingberg on the back end, and the puck off him, sticking out of play.
Go for Lindy Ruff. We're a quarter of the way gone in the season, 3/5 of the way into the homestand, and he and his staff have got to get this group to play better defensively and play the right way. He used the word pride this morning. I think that's a big part of it.
Eakin blocks the shot from Nikitin, and here he goes. Ben takes the line with him. Eakin drops the shoulder, backhand shot, save, and Ben can't get to the rebound. Fane got there first to clear. Eberle chasing Goligoski back into the Dallas zone. That's Klingberg. 4-game point streak for the rookie. 8th game of his NHL career tonight. Ben walking in. Ben holding it, and he couldn't slip it by the second man, Ference, after Petrie was beaten. Purcell up with the pass to Perron. Moving in. Shot it. Deflected off the side of the net. Arcabello snapped it over. That's Petrie firing it along. Perron caught in the corner. As Daly's out here, but so is Klingberg still. They haven't completed their change on defense. To the line, Petrie shot. Hit Arcabello. Tried to relay it in, and Eakin with another block early, and there goes Cole. Stars finish their change, and Cole can't get past Ference. Shot from Garbutt. Fiddler following, or Horkoff, pardon me. Or Garbutt, it is, firing. And a save there from Victor Faust. They go to the line. Demers kept it in. Daly shooting it. Garbutt, who's back in the lineup tonight after missing 3 with an injury. Cole tipping that puck toward Faust, and he'll cover up.
Well, a real good first shift for Cody Eakin. Again, I think a big reason why Jamie Benn is the 3rd star in the National Hockey League this week is the fact that Eakin has been moved to his center iceman. A block in his own zone after a face-off loss. Hustles to get it to the net. Ben can't grab a rebound. Then right after that, late in the shift, Arcabello had it in the high slot. And again, there's Cody Eakin in the right spot, right time.
Steven Pinizzato lost the puck. Schultz following up, cranks it out, and Gordon, center iceman on that line, drops it back. Schultz and Martin Marincin on the back end. Jason Demers works it around. He's partnered with Trevor Daly. Demers acquired Friday from the San Jose Sharks the deal that sent Brendan Dillon to San Jose. Gordon tries to bust through at the line. Pinizzato shooting it. Save, Lehtinen, rebound. He got that one too on the follow-up by Hendricks. Demers with a pass to Hemsky. Here comes the former Oiler, looking for Spezza at the line. He'll work his way down the boards. Taken away, and a good hit by Travis Moen. Jokipaka holding it in. Glanced off Fane's skate, went to the boards. Eaves darting after the puck, shot it, tried to get Faust leaving his post, and he was, but he has the puck.
Long enough. As Horkoff went in there and dislodged it. At the other end, this is what has been one of the issues defensively for the Stars. You know, they give up a chance from distance, no problem with that. There's a juicy rebound on it. You can't give up that. You know, they come into the game 28th in goals against average. They've allowed 6, 3, and 4 in the last 4 games, and it's just too much to ask your offense to outscore giving up that many grade A opportunities defensively. And we saw tons of them at that end of the rink in the 3rd period when LA was in here trying to get the equalizer on Saturday night. Eakin's got an issue with a stick. You know, I think both these teams have similar issues. Different periods of issues, but similar issues.
It's early for the Oilers and later on for the Stars.
Whoever wins the 2nd period tonight wins the game.
Probably. Seguin keeping that puck in, bouncing it toward Victor Faust's goal. Ferentz played it along. Ferentz and Seguin were teammates in Boston and won a Stanley Cup in 2011 together. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins shooting it down the boards. Jyrki Jokipaka shot it up the wall. Hall on his backhand. Back out to Petrie. Firing. Save Lettinen. Saw it. Rebound up the slot and cleared away from Petrie.
That was a rotund rebound off a hot shot.
Ben takes the line. Slid off of Hall and into Ferentz. Gave him a big shoulder in the corner. Eakin back of the net. Unable to center it quickly for Seguin. Now Yakupov hands it off. Nugent-Hopkins to Hall at the line. Seguin coming back to help out on RNH. Stars changing. Here comes Klingberg. Works the puck forward to Moen. Had it poke checked away. Eberle taking the Dallas line. Eberle burrowing in. Eberle swinging around and a save Lettinen, who dove after that puck.
That was well defended. Eberle was trying to wrap around and go short side high where there's a space on every goaltender in the league now because of the way they defend that, and Kari leaped to it.
Stars looking to turn over a puck. The Edmonton zone, but Eberle comes barreling out with it. Leon Draisaitl, number 29, pursuing the puck. Third overall pick in the 2014 draft, young German. Moen shoots that in deep. Ferentz attempting to keep Eaves and Moen away. The tie-up in the corner. Gazdic, former Stars pick, lost the puck, and Moen and Eaves were cut off. Demers from the line, bunts it off. Eaves can't get that puck to settle, and now he slips at center ice. Teddy Purcell is alone. And no real options, waiting for help on the change. Garbutt blocks that out to center. Purcell looking ahead. Arcabello toward Perron. And he can't get around Demers.
A couple of good plays by Jason Demers, both ends.
Nice feed from Fiddler to Cole. In front, Garbutt shot it wide.
And there's some speed in this game tonight.
You can't fly, you got no business out there. Jokipaka from center shooting it in. Victor Fast moves it. Hendricks, their hit leader and penalty minute leader, makes the turn, and here he comes. On the wing, Pinizzato. Hendricks back again. Pinizzato centered it, and Jokipaka makes the play. Pass to Roussel. Up the ice, Alexiak going after it. Nikitin lost the puck. Alexiak trying to find it in front of the Edmonton bench. It squirts free to Pinizzato at center. Chipped on in, Hendricks pursuing Goligoski. There's the hit. Turnover, Pinizzato flushing it back out to the line. Nikitin put it down, shot it off a stick and over the net and out of play.
Well, there's not much play in the neutral zone and transition zone for both these clubs as they're skating at one another here tonight. A real good chip by Jason Demers, playing on a lot of adrenaline on Saturday night, his first game with the Stars. A subtle little play by him just inside the blue line, little touch. You can see it along the boards. And they get a rotation going on that, and then it was a mess. Get a guy fall down, he hustles back to his own zone, jacks the puck off of Perron, and they end another shift. So good work at both ends.
Ferentz smashed it off a body, and it hit Lettinen in the pad. Backhand bit by Nugent-Hopkins, swatted out of there too. Eakin delays, Ben coming back for the puck. Ben to center, shooting it in. Fast stopped it, but it got away from him. Ben charging into the corner with Petrie. Gave it to Seguin in front to Eakin. He waits. Shot it, save. Ben, rebound. Couldn't toe drag it and fire. Good look there for the Stars. Klingberg arriving ahead of Perron, who's whacking away at him. Makes the pass to Ben. On the wing to Seguin. Trying to jump past Ferentz, and Fast sees him coming.
And it's happening. It is happening at a rather rapid pace. Kari Lettinen made a nice save, maybe a fortunate one on a deflection in his own zone. And then this is a real good play by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in front of his own net on a rebound chance. He skates this puck away just enough away from Tyler Seguin, who was going to rip a rebound at Foss. Comes back out in front. He's going to the net. Nugent-Hopkins gets a toe on it.
In the Edmonton zone, play underway. Alexiak shot, Fast fought it off. Hemsky almost stripping Schultz. Pinizzato couldn't hold it. Spezza will. Blocked aside by Victor Fast. Roussel in for a good hit on Schultz along the boards. Spezza trying to dig it out. Jokipaka from the line, and that pass tipped out to center. Hendricks chasing Alexiak. centers. Hemsky and Roussel cross patterns. Pinizzotto blasting off Letnin's blocker. It went straight up in the air. Letnin went down to cover the crease. Gordon on top. Nikitin shot. Hits Antoine Roussel, and he'll lug it out to center ice. Give it to Spezza. In come the Stars. Spezza wandering, cutting, and then overpowered. Outmanned, really. And it's shot out to center ice by Yakupov.
Shots are going to be 50-50 in this game, and it's going to take about an hour and 45 minutes to play it. It is rapid.
Wow. Moving quick. Fein to Yakupov. One of the 3 first overalls of recent years in the Oiler lineup. Horkoff, the former Oiler captain, ahead to Eves. He'll go past Fein for the puck. Mullen setting up now behind the net. To Eves. Draisaitl unable to control Mullen. Using his frame to keep 2 Oilers away. As the puck tied up along the boards. Eves looking to poke it out of there. Mullen fighting back. Yakupov emerging. Can't get away from Horkoff. Fein slides it over. And the Oilers make a change. Edmonton 6-13-2 coming into play tonight. They're in an 0-5-1 skid. No team in the NHL has fewer wins or points, but that's what makes them even more dangerous. That one exploded off Klingberg, and he needed help in front from Fiddler and Letnin.
That was a tough reverse.
Shot from the line. Marincin send it wide. Purcell hauled it out on his backhand. Arcabello going in after the puck. Klingberg moved it away from 2 forecheckers.
See his head, though? The whole time he's looking over his shoulder at where he can go with that puck when he gets it.
This one from long range dies in Victor Fost's glove. 11:44 remaining in the first period to score. There is no score for the Stars and the Oilers.
Pretty good hoop on that blade for John Klingberg. No question the Stars transition game has ticked up since he arrived from the American Hockey League. 2 examples of good and bad. The first, the bad. I'm not sure that Goligoski was making this a direct pass to his partner. If it was, it was, I have a problem, there's a guy on me here. You take the problem. Explodes off the backhand of Klingberg. He couldn't take it on the forehand. This is the good Klingberg. Look over your shoulder, look over your shoulder. Use the middle of the ice, not a rim around, and a battle along the boards, and away the Stars go in transition out of their own zone.
We're ready for play now to Victor Fost's right, 32-year-old Swede. Daly. Oh, he hit him up high, and it rockets out to center ice. And they're going to go check on Victor Fost.
I didn't know you could still hurt netminders with all the stuff they have on. This might have caught him, though, on the bone or the clavicle where it hit him. He's coming out immediately. Clean win. Daly with a rocket from the blue line. Yeah, I got him. Looked like you got him in the clavicle, the collarbone. They are padded to the hilt nowadays, but there are still spots where it's going to sting. Ben Scrivens, their backup here tonight, he started their last game at home against the Chicago Blackhawks. They got pumped 7-1 on home ice. So he looks on like all backup goaltenders do, like, please be healthy. I'm fine where I'm at right now. Early in this game, so.
Can they not make things to protect all the areas on a goaltender's body? I mean,
yeah, equipment shifts though. You can see him jump at that one. I don't think Fost wears one of those plastic bells. A lot of guys wear them in practice, but not in games. And they got to make a decision here. If he's hurt, he's got to come out. Even if they want to just check on him. Dallas Eakins in the conversation down there. I looked up in Battle today, and Dallas Eakins' bangs were dangling in front of the definition. 6 wins in the first 21 games this year. They've lost 6 in a row. He has 35 wins and 103 games behind the Oiler bench. But they've changed that position so much recently. You just wonder whether that's really the avenue to go as they try to find a path out of the multi-year funk that they've been in. Explanation to Scrivens as to whether to get ready or not.
Pass stays in there. Petrie from center ice, shooting it around. Daly from Demers, too far for Ben. Petrie slugging it. Lettinen finds it out of the pile. We're on a pace for about 60 shots for each team tonight. See how long they can keep that up.
Well, the pace has not allowed the defense of either team to really set up, so there's been open areas for individuals to get pucks on net, and they've been very liberal with their shooting.
Hauls it over. Shot it. Lettinen makes the save. 11 shots apiece, 11 minutes to play in the first period.
And nobody's looking for a better play. Taylor Hall, who was knocked out of their lineup with a knee injury, back in there again. He plays full throttle with the puck. At times when I watch him on television, I want to have some kind of a mechanism to talk to him and remind him that the rink is only 200 feet long. It ends. Because he just doesn't protect himself like you think maybe he should.
Yakupov attacked the house, and Kari Lettinen is there waiting for him.
Lots of prancers, lots of dancers. He'd be top of the list there. Nail Yakupov grabs this one and goes around the corner on Jokipaka to the forehand. Doesn't elevate. No room there. Kari's been solid here in the first 11 minutes and busy. So Kari's faced, a dozen shots here. He faced 17 in the third period against LA. That is peppered.
Face off to his right again. Spezza wins the draw. Alexiak, Jokipaka, Roussel flipped it up the middle, got away with it, and here comes Spezza and Hemsky into the Edmonton zone. Spezza shot it, angling it for the corner. Roussel back of the net for Spezza. Tried to return it on the give and go to Roussel. Yakupov back there, lost the puck, but it's cleared by Fane to center.
I think Antoine Roussel was anticipating there was going to be a defenseman pinched down on him there. That's why he got rid of it so quick. There was nobody near him. Could have just taken it. They could have easily come out of their own zone. You're right, it did work out, but...
Goligoski takes a look, gave it to Hemsky, back out for Klingberg. All the way over to Spezza, and he one-timed it just wide. Goligoski deep. Spezza centered it, and that puck hopped off Roussel. Hemsky found it, and then worked it over to Klingberg. Walks himself clear, finds Goligoski, dragging it down the boards. Centered it, but it's behind both players heading to the net. And out comes Yakupov to center. Goligoski forcing him back, and he'll hand it on to Perron. Perron shoots it in deep. Perron has only 2 goals this season for the Oilers.
See, there it is again. Garbett had it that time. He
needs Kari Lettinen to stop play. Half a period into the game in Dallas. No score for the Stars and the Oilers.
Well, it's a quick game tonight here at American Airlines Center, midway through the opening period. Lots of shots. The Stars are getting room coming out of their own zone. You can see Roussel when he got it on the boards. There's no pinching defenseman. Fane stays back at the blue line. The next time out again, Kari Lettinen rips it around. You can see the Oiler defense. And this time it's Schultz. He's backed off. He's not coming in to pinch along the wall. So it should be a relatively easy out if they can just make a direct pass and go.
Hall got it out toward the line. Marincin kept it. Eberle tapped it in deep. And Klingberg wrestling with Nugent Hopkins back of the net. Nugent Hopkins centered it, but out of the zone.
Good play by Seguin on Hall. 2 guys that went 1-2 in their draft here. Seguin lifted his stick. Didn't give him a chance at that puck.
Eberle flipping it forward. Nugent Hopkins found it inside the Dallas line. Goligoski and Nugent Hopkins tie up in the corner. Egan out to Ben. Took a look at Seguin, gave it to Klingberg, and got it back. Ben moving in. Ben shot it, saved fast. Puck tied up. Seguin, working it free. Seguin walking in. Seguin sent it in front, and that went off Barons right back in on Fost.
Boy, Petrie's been danced twice on their defense. He had a guy beat by Seguin prior to that. This is just a devious little dangle. Timmy toe drag there. Excuse me, I'd like to do it again. Get to the net, and instead of taking it to the net, tries a pass. Ben did that early on. This time it's Seguin in tight. Not a lot of room, and Fast is staring at him. Try to get it away to the weak side and have an open net.
Garbett battling back there with Nikitin. Jokipaka from the line. Save Fast, and no rebound for Garbett.
Giveaways.
Dallas Stars Best Buy Holiday Hat Trick is back and better than ever. 2 tickets to 3 Stars games starting at $150, plus we'll throw in EA Sports NHL 15 for free. Get yours at 214-GO-STARS or DallasStars.com. Fiedler tried to win that draw against Gordon. Could not, but Oleksiak holds it at the line. An Oilers stick and collected. Schultz, Penizzotto. Under some duress there as Vern Fiedler is pressuring. There goes Garbutt. Gordon got it out to center ice. Cole will clean it up at the line. Hendrick shot it that way. And Martin Marincin, 22-year-old Czech, over to Schultz. And back again. Arcabello turned his stick over. Demers pivots away from him. Gave it to Horcoff, swiftly on to Eves. Demers poked it forward, and Moen got it across the Oiler line. Purcell to Fane, and back to Purcell. Moen forcing him to make a pass. Marincin up. Perron in pursuit. Demers cleans it up. Here's Moen from center ice. Shooting it down the boards. Horcoff through the shoulder at Fane. Purcell got it out to center ice. Perron shot it in. Both teams will change, and here comes Klingberg again. Keep your eye on him. Klingberg taking the Edmonton line. Klingberg, and they're just offside.
A full rush going. He did have a little hitch in his giddy up as they were taking the line, but that's inexcusable with others. Should never really do that when you're hitting the line with numbers. You guys have to read off of him. It's interesting talking with Jamie Benn about him this morning, and Ben said the thing about John Klingberg is he's not afraid to make a mistake out there. And when you have that, you can play high. Whoa!
He scores from center ice. And the legend of John Klingberg grows.
Well, there shouldn't have been much risk in this one, but it knuckles. It's up on end, and it dove away from Foss, who's deep in his net, allowed that curve to play him. Look at the puck up on end. Look at that thing move. Wow. This is perfect in slow motion. It's going dead on the crest of Victor Foss, and it beats him low on the glove side.
Okay.
You'd have beat a 500 hitter with that one, I think.
Yeah, he would have. It's nasty. 5-game point streak now for Klingberg. 3rd goal of the season. 8 games in.
His 3rd goal of the season, scored by number 3, John Klingberg.
All at center ice. Handing it on to Yakupov. Draisaitl was shadowing the play. Petrie from center ice has to drive it back in. Here's Klingberg again. I don't think he'll shoot from there.
Well, I take it all back, though. It's not a bad thing to go offside when you got 4 guys hitting the line if you're going to do that from 70 feet.
Long pass, Goligoski to Eakin at center. Ricochets to Sagan, backing off the Oilers. Tried to pass it over to Ben. Gazdic grabs it. Eberle into Dallas ice. Stops. Trying to dance away, but Demers had help there from Eakin, who then blocked that puck out to center again. Ben to Eakin at the line against Nugent Hopkins, who fought back to block that shot. Nikitin, slow roller up the boards, but he gets a little bit of help. Eberle tipped it in. Play continues to move. Here comes Trevor Daley. Through center ice, tried to use the boards, but it hits something on the Oiler bench, maybe the open door. One more look at this one. John Klingberg, seemingly a threat from anywhere now. Man, disappears on fast for a 1-0 lead.
Leaderboard tonight takes a look at NHL rookie defenseman point scoring, and John Klingberg, who has spotted the field about a month, sits 3rd now with almost a point a game mark. He is over a point a game here on home ice now. He just scored from almost the logo at center ice on Victor Foss. I don't know the new goalie coach has an explanation for that one. The Oilers fired Freddie Chabot after that debacle on Saturday.
Hall, they tried letting it on. Daley blocked it, tipped it wide. rounded rims. Cole occupied Schultz. Fiddler trying to leave. Cole will. One-time Oiler hauling it in on his backhand. On the attack. Onto the center at the Fiddler. Hands it to Fiddler. Back to Cole. Swing and a miss. And out to center ice. Hall cuts away from Demers. Left it for Eberle. Off to Nugent Hopkins. And Garvin coming back to help Fiddler out. There's Fiddler up to center ice. 3 assists in his last 5 games, and he accommodates Dallas's change. Barrett took a hit from Eaves. Arcabello across the ice to Petrie into the Dallas zone. Firing it wide of the net. It hops off Perron to Eaves. And then moved it over toward Horcock, but that swung back into Dallas ice. And then Jokipaka out again. Mullen tried to go rink wide with it. Marincin takes the line, shot it. Lettman made the stop. Perron sealed up by Oleksiak. Horcock escaping with the puck. Slid it forward to Eaves. Marincin to Perron, and the Oilers stick it in the Dallas bench.
For the most part, these are dreamy games for goaltenders when you have a team like the Oilers who are blasting into the zone with a lot of speed, but they're not looking to make any plays. It's into the zone and rip it on net. So Kari's been able to pad his save percentage in the first period. He's sparkled. And you wonder about the Oilers' psyche after, they played hard and played fairly well. First periods are their bugaboo, and their goalie gives one up from the middle of the rink.
Klingberg a little too far for Spezza. Spezza, by the way, getting the lone assist on the Klingberg goal.
Yeah, the other night we didn't even get a chance to mention that Jason Spezza had re-upped with the Stars and signed a 4-year extension. We were fawning over Klingberg and the captain in the first period. The Stars roared up to a 3-0 lead. He's a fun guy. He likes it down here. He's still, I think, finding his way within the group.
Team leading 15th assist, by the way.
He's amongst the NHL leaders in that.
The Oilers are offside at the Dallas line.
He's honest about the type of player he is. He wants to go. He wants offense. And that's what the Stars are struggling at times with, is bedding in not only new guys to the team and city and that, but new guys to the way that they'd like to go about their business defensively. It can't just be all go-go offense. There has to be responsibility coming the other way too.
Oilers win the face-off, but they're offside on the engagement of the attack.
Can't get anything going here. One of maybe the only coach I've ever seen that wears an earpiece, a head coach, on the bench to talk with the eye in the sky. Usually it's an assistant, but with Aikens, it's him.
Eakin now at center with Nugent Hopkins. Struggled in the first period in the circle. Daly under pressure. Demers. Pass ahead to Cody Eakin. Jason Demers lost the puck. Chasing Nugent Hopkins. Shot it. Save Lettman. There is a rebound, but Daly got there first. Daly trying to pivot away from Eberle. Gets assistance from Eakin. Ben to Demers. Up the guts of the ice off Eakin. The Stars will change.
They're a dangerous line if you're going to turn the puck over in any area of the ice with RNH, Hall, and Eberle. Another good save by Carter Lettman, and he's had a bushel of them there.
Puck jumped off Roussel stick between the benches.
Well, other media members, the number one guy they usually ask me about is that man, Antoine Roussel. Tell me about Antoine Roussel. I gladly speak at length about the self-made player that he is. On this line, he's like the net front guy, but also expected to be the high forward, so the defensive forward in the attacking zone. That's tough to do. That's a tough two-step.
There he goes, though, charging after the puck. Spezza to Hemsky, just out of his reach. Oleksiak from the line. Ales Hemsky stumbled, then fired it. Ricochets off Fane back into the Dallas zone. Assists are piling up lately for Hemsky. Still looking for his first goal. He likes the rhythm now with Jason Spezza. Played together for a handful of games again. Schultz, side of his net. He'll stand behind it unchallenged. Trevor Korski to make the pass. Marincin up off Perron, kicked it to the Dallas line. Goligoski delayed, made the pass ahead. Here comes Cole, charging up the middle. Cole busting through. Cole, back in. Penalty coming up here against the Oilers.
Wow. Transition. Splits the D. Ferentz, the veteran, takes the minor. He and Schultz both end up getting slipped through. Schultz is wide on this one. Cole takes the ice. Ferentz doesn't have a lane on him. Eric Cole continues to do what Eric Cole does, and that's draw power plays for the Dallas Stars. Along with winning Movember, he does that for the Stars. That is a solid duster.
It's over. Seguin, Klingberg, Seguin shot it off the post. Ben to Seguin. Shooting tip, save pass, no rebound.
Boy, a good one too. That was a nice deflection by Roussel in front of the net. Seguin can hammer it. He wants another peek at that from up top on the screen. You can hear how hard it hit. Good face-off win by Spezza. And then Sagan's just waiting on it. The gun was cocked for a long time. And kabang! Against the grain. Nice screen set up by Spezza on the little drive-by in front of the net.
Stars had 2 power play goals in their win against LA. They had 2 in their previous 11 games combined. Klingberg from Spezza. Refers to Seguin, gave it to Spezza, and it's tipped just wide by Ben in front. Seguin. Klingberg moving in. Wanted to go across the ice. They took the pass away. Cleared to the line, not out. Seguin holding in famous clearing bid. Ben back to Seguin. Flipped it over to Spezza. Shooting a rising shot. Caught glass. Klingberg kept it in. There's Ben. Down to Spezza. Hit his skate. Rotating out, drifting it back to Seguin. Seguin and Ben are on top now. Seguin working it down the half wall to Spezza. Centering it. Blocked. He had Roussel on the far side, and it's cleared by the Oilers.
Boy, they basically did whatever they wanted. Nice, brisk movement of both the puck and bodies.
1 minute remaining in the first period.
Ben protecting it against Arcavello. There's good changes out here. Here comes Cody Eakin. Ahead to the Oiler line to Demers. He had a power play goal against the Kings. Turned out to be the game winner in his Dallas debut on Saturday. Cuffed it down at the line. Knocks it back to Daly. His shot skyrockets off Hendricks in the slot, not a play.
With some real aggressive keeps by Tyler Seguin, even after hitting the post on that power play set. You look at the Stars power play, the top guys have been Spezza and Seguin. There's the backdoor play with Jamie Benn. Jamie's been left out of the equation a little bit. 2 power play goals for him, no power play assists. He's been that middle guy in the high slot. He's almost like a decoy.
He's picked off. Daly along the boards, and it's snuck past him. There goes Gordon, short-handed. Gordon moving in. He shot, save, Letton, rebound, score! Gordon stayed with it, and the Oilers tie the game late in the first period.
These are killers. You know, it's like the goal they gave up late in the second period to pump life into the LA Kings on Saturday night. It's a tough play at the blue line, but, you know, Daly's trying to be aggressive with it. The last second, Demers comes over to try to take the shot away. Gordon goes with it anyway. It was actually played fairly well defensively by him. He just got a perfectly laying rebound that Kari Lehtinen couldn't get his leg back to. So a shorty given up here and a tie hockey game in a pretty wild and bizarre first period.
Gordon's 4th goal of the season. Second Oilers shorthanded goal of the year. The Stars have yielded 3. Ben across the ice. Klingberg will find the puck. Drifting it up towards Spezza, but it's unclean at center ice. Arcavello shoots it back into the Dallas zone, and the Stars gave up some momentum here at the end of the frame.
Well, of the 30-odd shots that were pumped at these 2 netminders in the first period, the 2 that went in shouldn't have probably. One from center, and the other one short-handed. Fun to watch, though.
Not if you're the coaches. Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. Stars looking for their first 3-game winning streak of the season. Edmonton Oilers trying to stop a 6-game losing streak. After 1, Stars and the Oilers are tied at 1 at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Lots more to come. Stars Hockey on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Ford. Just announced the Black Friday sales event at your Texas Ford dealer. Don't wait. It all ends December 1st. And by Mazda. The Mazda 6 is named a Car and Driver 10 Best for 2014. What do you drive? The Edmonton Oilers are 0-7-1 when trailing after the first period. They're not trailing after the first period because of a late shorthanded goal raiser, which should give them a little bit of spark.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lucky break. Really, both goals that were scored in the opening period were lucky breaks. Curveball from center, and then this one, shorthanded, chip along the boards. They cheat a little bit to go, but the break was there. It ends up going off of Demers' skate. You can see it in slow motion. That's why Kari Lehtinen ended up handcuffed. The puck was not going toward his glove when it left the stick blade of Gordon. He follows it up, squeaks it past the left pad of Kari Lehtinen, and you know, they're feeling pretty good. They're on the road. They're not down after one period of play. It was a brisk, unfettered opening 20 minutes between these two clubs that like to skate, slant toward the offensive side of the game. Targets were busy.
See what Ben and company have here in the second period. Shot 17-16. Oilers. Nikitin shoots it in. Eberle after the puck tried to center it. Eakin slips underneath, away from Hall. On the wing to Sagan, up to Ben. He's got a 3-game point streak. He was barreling in there with Spain. Bounced off of him. Nikitin finds Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Eberle falls at center. Hall carries it into the Dallas zone. Trying to get away from Klingberg, who arrests the puck.
With a lot of help from Cody Eakin coming back. Wow. He is a workaholic.
Sort of the de facto fourth star of the week. He had 5 points. Ben was the third star with 6. The same stretch, so Cody's really making the most.
I think if more people knew about John Klingberg, he might have fit into the 3 stars of the week too. Eakin, Lindy Ruff calls him his line fixer. And you watch him go about his business in this game tonight. Hustles to come back. There to help Klingberg turn a puck over on Taylor Hall in their own zone. He does diligent work deep in his own end. And he's been providing this, some offense.
Spencer good in the face-off circle in the first period. He wins another one. Daly along the boards. Ales Hemsky whacked it out. Ference turns away from the puck, ensuring an icing call against the home team.
So this is the first time Ales Hemsky's ever played against the Edmonton Oilers. He didn't play against them when he was with Ottawa at the end of last year after being dealt. He went 13 overall back in 2001 to the Oil. Averaged 13 goals, just over 40 points a season. He's had a tough time getting going offensively as a Dallas Star. Signed a 3-year deal here. He's had opportunities. As you mentioned, it's ticked up a little bit here lately during this homestand. I don't think anybody foresaw the first quarter that he's endured, though.
Trevor Daly scampering after a puck. He was looking for it at center, doesn't get it. Perron is onside. Perron cutting, shooting, blocked by Demers.
Good play defensively. Didn't back off, stayed in that lane. Turnover again.
Arcobello stole it. Spezza with another chance. Demers ahead to center, snapped it across for Roussel, who lunges out to keep the play moving. And Dallas getting changes. Petrie had the assist on the Gordon shorthanded goal. He lugged it ahead to center ice here. Shot from Hendricks went wide of the net. Pinizzotto tucking it deep to Gordon in the corner. Hendricks lurking. Fiddler putting his stick in there. Alexiak had Gordon tied up. He escaped, but slips to the line. Marincin unable to hold it in. Cole to Garbutt at center ice. Garbutt swings it deep. To Foth, back of his net. Away from the pressure. Gordon out to center. Onside to Hendricks. Backhander and a save from Kari Lehtinen. Marincin shoots it in deep. Yakupov left it. Hendricks unable to control it, and Alexiak got out of the jam. Jokipaka up toward Garbutt. Hit him in the skate. shot it in, but right to Nikita Nikitin, and he's got Gazdic busting free into the Dallas zone. Klingberg over to cut him off. Shot save, rebounded. Yakupov sent it wide. Orkov up the wall. Gazdic playing his first game this season. And Nikitin delays. That's an offside against Edmonton.
Spent 7 years in the Stars organization before getting a chance with the Edmonton Oilers. He injured his shoulder in a fight late last season and had off-season shoulder surgery. Comes down the wing after they were able to expose a long change in second periods. Speaking of guys who've got a pretty good snot mop, he's grown a dandy one. He was a very popular individual with the Texas Stars. And very popular in Edmonton immediately because he fought all comers last year.
He was an everyday player for the Oilers. Orkov managed to get that puck out to center ice. Marincin to Schultz. It's knocked down. Nugent Hopkins coming in to help out Hall from center toward Eberle. That tip. Moen banks it forward. Schultz stepping up, ran right into Moen and is upended. John Klingberg. The Goligoski in the Dallas zone. On the wing to Moen. Chuck it in for the change. 3.5 gone in the second period. Stars 1, Oilers 1. In comes Taylor Hall. Ben swings in to find the puck. Worked it over to Jokipaka. And then Ben picks it up, trying to cut away from Hall at center. Couldn't do it. Herschel toward Eakin. Gloved by Hall. Out of play. Thanksgiving on Fox Sports 1 has your fill of holiday hoops with the Continental Tire Las Vegas Invitational. First, the Fighting Illini take on Indiana State. Then the Baylor Bears shoot it out with Memphis for a trip to the final. It all begins Thanksgiving Day at 4 on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
It is just a circus of stretch passes here in the early going of the second period. You see defensemen turn up ice. Forwards are all roaring to the far blue line, trying to catch the other side and either changes or a little broken play at that line with speed barreling in.
Swatted deep. Petrie first man to it. Sagan trying to cut him off along the boards. Got the pass away. Purcell from Perron backhanding it in. Lettinen swung and missed. And here's Madden from Demers. There's some numbers at the line. The Oilers digging to get back. Ben had it tied up. It's cleared, and Oleksiak going back to get it. Pass ahead, hit Roussel in the skates. Stars are in ahead of it. Hendricks brings it out. Lugs it toward the Dallas line and then uncleanly shoots it into the zone. Minnesota going in. After Spezza gets the turnover. Bump back to Gordon, the goal scorer for Edmonton, and Lettinen takes it away.
Turnovers. Gordon's a real good fourth-line center in this league. He wins all his face-offs. He's a diligent player defensively. He's a good penalty killer. Obviously, dangerous penalty killer in this one tonight with the shorthanded goal. But Stars have started to turn the puck over a little bit here, and I'm sure both coaches have cautioned against that in second periods. Bench is on the other side defensively, and both teams can really scoot on turnovers.
Centering feed, Oleksiak makes the play.
They jumped the face-off, lost there, and ended up with the puck.
A big rig to center. Cole sneaking in deep. Schultz leaving it. Nikitin hands it to Gordon. Gordon's goal tonight, that's 4 in his last 10 games, so he's helping out offensively too. Oleksiak to Jyrki Jokipaka. There's going with a youth movement on the blue line.
There's just massive gaps between forwards and defensemen here.
Hall came in and fired it off the glove. Goal available for a second bid. Marincin slams on the brakes. Gave it to Schultz and got it back again. Moen chasing Nugent Hopkins. Center ice, Eberle got it over. Klingberg ripped it across. Moen to center ice. Schultz taking over inside the Oiler line. Marincin with the look-up ice. He hit Nugent Hopkins.
They gave him a bad pass the first time out of the zone. Earlier, it was the other way around. Oleksiak hit Roussel right in the shin pad on a pass through the middle of the ice. Get the forwards outfitted with ball mints here in the second.
It's a little sloppy out there.
Tape to tape used to be what you were looking for. Maybe the game's changed.
Well, not that much. Klingberg has a man free, and Seguin moving in. Seguin, he scores! I'd call that tape to tape.
No, same game. It's the same game.
Okay.
Just for a second there, I was wondering whether it had changed. Well, they hooked up. The last game here, it was the goaltender to Seguin through the middle of the ice. Again, this is what both teams have been trying to expose the other side on. Long change second period. Transition from defenseman to a forward. Little covert operation in behind. Walks in and made it look relatively easy. The league leading, 60th for Tyler Seguin.
Klingberg with the primary assist, a multiple-point game again for Klingberg. That one tipped by Arcabello. Shot from Petrie at the line. Missed the net, and here comes Eakin again. Ben right behind him. Shot it over. Ben picking it up. Ben to Seguin. Hit him in the skate. Perron trying to go the other way. Eakin caught him. Purcell. Offside are the Oilers at the Dallas line. John Klingberg ripped this puck ahead. Tyler Seguin on the business end knows how to finish it. And the Stars lead it 2-1 over the Oilers.
Stars coach Lindy Ruff has spotted something he wants changed here and spent the TV timeout with the group huddled around him to talk about it. Did the same thing in the third period against the LA Kings the other night. It was more about staying aggressive than anything else. It was interesting, though. He was talking about not having that line, Cody Eakin, Garbutt, and Roussel, to reset after goals this season. Terrific resetters last year. This year it's been more like Christmas crackers when he sends a line out there. It's just pull it, see what kind of a prize you get out of it.
Christmas crackers. Hall. Back out to the line. Fein shot, save, rebound. Lettinen gets that one, 2 in front from Nugent Hopkins.
Tidy little rebound save that time. Their top line out here and dangerous looking. Again, the Stars looked like they had him hurted at one point earlier, and then they give up that. Rebound chance. Boy, if it goes the other way, Eberle's hauled by him lonesome. He's a good player. You can see the competitive nature in Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Next assist will be his 1,000th. He could use a little help down the middle, I think. Underneath. Gordon's fine, but it's in between the two of them.
Fiddler from center ice shot it in. Stars have just the one shot in the period. They made it count.
I think I said 1,000th assist. It's 100. He'd have quite a start to his career if it was 1,000.
That's a lot. Here's Fiddler. He'll get there. Maybe. And out to center ice. Alexiak and Jokipaka back for it. Cole sends it down the wing. Garbutt going in with Petrie. Slid it around. Arcabello slides past Goligoski at the line. Cole there to help out at center. But in come the Oilers. Purcell. They get away from Cole and Klingberg. Those two jam him up in the corner. Cole looking for the puck. Arcabello comes away with it. Back in toward Cole. Goligoski, who also got an assist on the Seguin goal. Seguin from Klingberg and Goligoski, and here comes Klingberg to the line. He'll just bounce it in.
That was an adventure. So he's thinking, why not? Pop him from everywhere the way he's going right now. This one just throws it in, and it's very, it's similar to what happened on the goal that beat him, right? He's very deep in his end, allows the bounce to play him. Or on the Klingberg goal back in the first period, the curve to play him rather than come out and take it away.
Orkov digging in with Gordon. Gordon wins the faceoff. Fein back of his net, and here we go. Travis Moen and Matt Hendricks. Should be pretty good.
First time Moen's done this as a Dallas Star.
Short jabs, keeping him away. Got the right cock.
Lots of jabs.
Getting those off at will. And he came over with the right. Another overhand right.
Oh!
He crushed him 3 times.
to a T. And once he was loose with the free hand, good night. Right off the draw. You want to go? Yeah, we'll go. We'll add 5. Sure. Here we go. Puck down. Can't go before the puck's on the ice. There it goes. Discard the useless stuff. Finger pants are off. Time to punch each other's teeth. That's a bad spot to be in if you're Hendricks. And the right started to rain. Moen, I think, has really added something to the Stars. Think about it. His first 2 games as a Dallas Star, they lose 6-2 and 6-4. Since that, they've been a better club, and you can see the skills that he adds to the set. He can do that, and he also makes plays that a veteran that has played on winning teams makes. Not very many mistakes with the puck.
Good guy to have on the boat. Perron up ahead. Pinazzato from the wing. They slip that pass through to Gordon. Jokipaka, Alexiak have them tied up back of the net, and Seguin would like to leave the zone with the puck. Out to Ben. Crisscrossing, giving it back to Seguin. Seguin blazing, shooting. That one's tipped by Fane over the top of the goal. Eves in pursuit. Gordon to the Dallas line. Flipped it past Demers. Oilers changing. Daly popped it out to center. It gets through to Roussel. In come the Stars. Antoine Roussel centered it. Shot. He can save Foss. Rebound. Garbutt's in there, and it's behind Foss, but the whistle blew.
The emotion from the referee is about being pushed in. The mistake was made at center ice. Gazda couldn't handle that puck. It was a tough puck for Trevor Daly to get out of his own zone, and then there was the shove by Garbutt. And as he shoved, I believe, Petrie in there, he bumped his own goaltender back into the net. They're going to wipe it out because of that at ice level. Another look from above. And the referee's on the headset down below us. Obviously, the fans in the building have seen it. You can't shove a goaltender into the net with the puck. And this was more the billiards version of it, as Garbutt used Petrie in between himself and Victor Foss. This would be another one that'll be, I think, much easier going forward for the officials, because you have to think that they're going to expand video review for these so that...
We have no goal on the play. The Dallas player contacts the Edmonton player that pushes the goalie into the goal with the puck. No goal.
It's well explained by Brad Watson.
There you go. Coco Bonk. You want guys to go hard to the net. Sometimes you go hard to the net, it falls perfectly for you, and you score the goal. Sometimes you go in there and there's too much contact, and in it goes. And away it goes. So they'll start to Victor Foss left.
What we have here, Eakin, Roussel, and Garbutt out there against Nugent Hopkins and company. Petrie moved it. Demers cut it off. Shot it. Tip. Garbutt. High slot. His drive. Tipped out of play.
Well, they're an important line, and, you know, Garbutt just back into the lineup here tonight after missing 3 games. Roussel's been playing up and down. You've had Cody Eakin getting Jamie Benn out of the slump that he has been in. But this is what they did repeatedly last year for Lindy Rupp. Play against top players and top lines and reset the game after goals, after power plays, after bad segments, you name it. Oilers quickly make a change to get that top line away from them.
Gordon's been tough on the dots. Eakin gets this one and then lost it. It was stripped. Jokipaka holding it in. Eakin driving toward the net. Eakin on his backhand all the way around behind. Met with resistance on the far side. Garbutt taps it back out. Jokipaka to Alexiak. Shot it wide. Garbutt resetting it. Jokipaka left point shooting. Also off the mark. Hall running into trouble. It's Ryan Garbutt shoving him, and Petrie comes away with the puck. Across the ice to Hall. Pumped it in on Lettinen. Catch and release, and then smother.
We'll start from their own end. Haven't heard a lot. Stars, for the most part, have kept Hall, Eberle, and Nugent Hopkins in check here tonight. And you know that was the big red pen on the dry erase board around that line. Keep them at bay as much as you can. Quick switch. They've got Yakupov out here with the other two on this.
RNH rips that draw back.
That must kill centers when they win it that clean and their defenseman isn't where you expect them to be.
Yakupov dancing in, fired it wide. He was looking for a centering feed, and then Fain's bid blocked, and here comes Hemsky and Cole into the zone. Hemsky to Cole, he shoots, save Foss, rebound, Spezza, save Foss.
Spectacular bid.
Equally dazzling stop. Midway through the game, Stars lead the Oilers 2-1 in Dallas.
One of the great things about having a homestand during the holidays, or the beginning of the holiday season, is the opportunity for the Stars to do what they do every year, and that is visit the Children's Hospital. They went to Children's Medical Center yesterday afternoon after practice and spent the afternoon with the kids there. And, you know, it's cliche and everything, but it is as good for the players. If you've done it before as an athlete, it's as good for you as it is for the kids to have, you know, a change to their environment that day. Guys realize how fortunate they are, and I think it humbles them a little bit. So nice work by the Dallas Stars Foundation and all the guys to give up the afternoon to make the world a little brighter for those kids for a few hours.
And you can watch the visit, get more details on it on DallasStars.com. All right, 2-1 Stars midway through the game. Oilers claim the puck in their own zone. Klingberg going back, and he beats Purcell to the dot.
Started over again up ice. Things have been juggled a little bit, really, since the scrap. Moen and Hendricks, and both sides have started to jumble their lines a bit. You got Cole out here with Spezza and Hemsky right now. You had Sagan at center ice, his last shift. Eakin, Roussel, Jarbit trio reunited.
Spezza's won 11 of 15 faceoffs. They'll give him that one too. Hemsky lost the puck along the boards, skied out to center ice. Arcabello can't reach it. Hemsky recovered to shoot it back over. Petrie to Ference. Oiler captain moves it ahead. Purcell down the wing against Goligoski. Buried him right there. Cole worked it forward. Hemsky collects it, and Cole tried to come barreling through. He got his legs firing again tonight. Klingberg to one knee to keep it alive. Spezza to Cole. Cole drags it. Cole can't get the shot away.
Same pair that got roasted in the first period, Ference and Petrie.
Hemsky unable to pick the pocket. In comes Eberle across the ice for Perron. He had to stop it with his skates, and then he banked it off Lettinen. To Tyler Sagan. Here he comes to center. Goligoski swivels and shoots it in deep. Stars change their rear guards. Eaves is up here now with Ben and Sagan. And Daly missed the pass. Rushed it along to Demers. Popped it out to center ice. Fain reinstalls. So it's 25-22 Oilers, 8:25 to play in the second period, and the Stars lead it 2-1. Fourth game of a 5-game homestand. They're looking for their first 3-game winning streak of the year. But gets through to Yakupov in the Dallas zone. Bumped it off, and Nugent Hopkins shot tipped out of play.
It's interesting, isn't it? They piled up the shots in the first period when both teams were coming out of their own zones as 5-man units. Here in the second, it's been stretch passing and not as many shots. They had this sequence before we went to break, though. Great first save by Foss. Even better on the second one. Eric Cole thought he had one. A little drive-by by Spezza. All three forwards on that line were involved in it. Good concentration by the goaltender. To come up with the second save, little deflection caught him right in the Oiler crest. You know, it's a different... That's the goal the Stars desire right now, to give themselves a little breathing room.
Garbett trying to get it right here. Threw it in front. Roussel occupied all the way to the net by Fain. Garbett tossed it wide. Oleksiak chipped it in deep for Roussel. Battling it out of the corner. Roussel left it for Garbett. Garbett mauled. Roussel tripped. Play continues. Eakin shot blocked. Jokipaka from the boards. Took it back to the net. Roussel. And Draisaitl. Name we haven't called that much comes to center ice. He'll take it over. He'll work past Oleksiak, who tipped that shot up high. Horcoff in stride. Cross the ice for Fiddler. He'll get it in and punch it deep on Ference. Horcoff. Fiddler with Petrie. Klingberg. Passing it over to Goligoski. And it's blocked. But they get it through to Horcoff. Centered it. Seguin went past him. Goligoski down toward Fiddler. And Ference to the line. Klingberg chasing it back into the Dallas zone. Goligoski up to Seguin. Here come the Stars. Fiddler on the wing. Horcoff a shot. Saved Foss. The rebound got away from him, and Gordon spit it up. Goligoski couldn't hold it at the line. Being chased. And Spezza and Cole come in on side. Hemsky was breaking to the net. A penalty coming up here against the Oilers.
Oilers get their change in this time as Goligoski bides time, but the Stars are starting to get through them rather slick and charging into the zone off the rush. They're getting way more chances off the rush right now than the Stars are, than the Oilers are, and that pair on defense really has struggled the last couple of shifts. Petrie and Ference couldn't get the full change in. He was weary at the end of it, so the Oiler captain is in the correctional facility, and the Stars power play has a golden opportunity to grab this game by the throat.
They're 0 for 1 in the game, and they yielded a shorthanded tally. Hendricks backhands this out.
You think, though, just prior to that shorthanded goal in the final minute of the opening frame, Seguin hit the pipe on the far side. This top unit looked like they were seconds away from scoring.
Klingberg to Seguin. Slams on the brakes, gives it back to Klingberg, pops it over to Roussel. Jumped off his skate. Tossing it deep for Spezza, who settles it in the corner. Nikitin shoving him. Spezza trying to keep it away. Goes to Benn. Sagan's in front. Benn's pass blocked. Spezza trying to carry through with it. Hendricks to the line, but right to Benn. He'll twist away and feed it off Spezza to Seguin.
Very aggressive penalty coming by the Oilers here. Very aggressive.
Spezza to Klingberg. Klingberg goes all the way in. Lost Foss, centers it. And Spezza couldn't finish it.
10-2 in patience.
Here he comes again. Klingberg up ahead to center. Tried to pass to Eakin. Oilers read it. Get himself off the hook here. Swung it to Eaves. Back to Goligoski, and the Stars have to reset. And Hemsky, pardon me. That's Klingberg again. 40 seconds remaining on the power play. Demers will take it in. He'll curl up and stop. That's Goligoski. Now to Hemsky. Hemsky snapped it across. Demers shooting it. Save Foss. No rebound for Cody Eakin or Patrick Eaves.
Well, Hemsky got him on the power play. That was a sweet pass through the middle. Earlier, speaking of sweet, John Klingberg. This is just tongue-out cheeky as he waits. Dances 10-2. Shades of Ulf Dahlen. Tries to hit Spezza that might have caught a piece of Fane, the defenseman. This will be a better angle to figure it out. Number 5. No, he just jammed him with it. That's a tough play all around. He had to get it around the defenseman and the heel of the stick and the skates on Jason Spezza. Otherwise, it's bang-bang.
Stars win the faceoff, but they have to chase the puck back to their own line. Nugent Hopkins pursuing Demers. Hemsky to Eakin. Turn back at the line. Nugent Hopkins shoots it down the ice. 15 left. Minor penalty to Ference. 4:35 to play in the second. Goligoski. Demers shoots it in. Around the boards, Arcabello hands it back. Nikitin with a breakaway pass to Hall. Just missed him at center. The Oilers are back at full strength. Hall tried to center it, and it ricochets back into the Oilers zone all the way in on Victor Foss, who's having trouble securing the puck, and all he can do is clamp down on it. 4:16 left in the second period. Stars 2, Oilers 1 in Dallas. Stars 2, Oilers 1. Join Jeff Kay and the Dallas Stars Ice Girls Tuesday, December 2nd for the official Dallas Stars watching party at Hard Rock Cafe, Dallas, to watch the Stars take on the Toronto Maple Leafs at 6:30 p.m. You'll get food, drink specials, plus have the chance to win great Stars prizes all night long. We'll see you there, it says here, but we'll be in Toronto. Nugent Hopkins and Eakin. Stars win the faceoff. Garbutt twirls away. Back of the net, just away from Roussel's grasp. Hall worked it on to Eberle. Carrying in, curling out. Daly staying with him. Demers has Nugent Hopkins. Puck is under there somewhere. To the corner it goes, and so does Trevor Daly to find it. And then he'll knock it back to his new partner. Jason Demers. First 300 games with the San Jose Sharks. Second game with the Stars. Eakin on the wing to Roussel, trying to get a step. Schultz got him. Roussel tips it over to Daly. Slugs it back of the net. Eakin fighting with Ference. Oleksiak kept it in at the line. Oleksiak in front. Cole, a shot. Save Fost. That happened in a hurry. Here's Jokipaka. Eakin, a blast. Punched out of there by Fost and out of play.
Victor Fost is keeping them within a shot here in the late stages of this second period. They could be buried right now with the mistakes they made. This is a sweet curl pass by Demers. See him peek over his shoulder? He knew if he curled it, he could beat two of the Oiler forwards with this. In they come, little curl to the middle of the ice. It's a bad play if he doesn't look and see that they're wide open and out of their own zone on it. And then the chance. Scramble and backdoor.
Jokipaka stops Steven Pinizzato in his tracks. Puck is in the Oiler bench.
He's been good too. I mean, he's never going to get the accolades and the headlines and the replays that John Klingberg does. But Jyrki Jokipaka is going to be one of those guys that'll play a quiet 20 minutes for you night after night after night. You'll appreciate all 20 of them.
Oh, dipped in on Letton. Hemsky. Spets up. Cole had some bids, has another one and a save Fost. Another puck out of play. Erik Cole has been really all over it again.
Well, there's two things going on. He's skating well, and there's no back pressure from the Oilers for the most part when the Stars rush up the ice and over the line. They're chasing. You can see him chasing, and their D has no choice but to back off, and they're already backed off anyway. There's been a huge gap for me between their defensemen and their forwards. And Erik Cole's had, 3 scoring chances just in the second period alone.
4 goals on the season, but just 1 in his last 15 games. He's trying to address that tonight, it would appear.
They need him to score. It's one thing to draw penalties and all that, be Bargiel on the boards. You got to put the puck in the net, too.
Klingberg shooting when blocked in front. Perron rattles it back in, and Klingberg chased by Purcell. Up the middle to Ben. Sagan flicked it along to Goligoski. Shoot it in, let Ben go after it back of the net to Petrie. Ben trying to slide it along to Eves. Klingberg pinched down. And there's Ference back of the net. Eves, Ben, Sagan, shooting, he scores! Give it to him there, and it's over. 3-1 Dallas.
Well, again, I mean, the gap is just so big. You can see their D backing off. So the neutral zone is easy for the Stars to just break up ice and take the line with ease. There's nobody really chasing them. Then their forwards come back and get puck watching. There's no way on earth that Tyler Sagan should be that wide open in the high slot. Arcabello comes down. He's the center iceman. He watches the puck coming down to support. Perron and his mates, though, just watched. Petrie made a nice screen for his goaltender, and it's been a rough middle frame for that pair on defense for the Oilers, and another shiny night for the leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League.
17 now, Ben, and maybe they'll give Eves an assist too.
You know, Stars go back and dig it. Ference, there's one guy taking his responsibility. I don't know why Petrie was in the other corner and not in front of the net. There's the screen perfectly placed under the soffit. past the glove of Foss.
Right where the target will be in the All-Star shooting competition.
He's got 2 goals and a post in the game here tonight. That's a big, big goal. Now this is a large final 2 minutes of the middle frame.
Hall trying to get one back. Marincin holding it at the line. Passing off Yakupov, chased out of the zone. Oleksiak forced him back. And Stars.
Dallas Stars goal, his 17th of the season and second of the game. Scores number 91.
Trouble, Eberle, backhand shot. Save Lettinen. Jokipaka tying up Eberle. Oleksiak to the puck.
And number 18.
He'll launch it out. Hemsky going after it. Ference able to keep him at bay. Spezza to Demers. Daly to Spezza. He overskated the puck at the line. They turn it over. Purcell dropped it. Nugent Hopkins shot. Hemsky blocks it.
1 minute remaining in the second
Daly back of the net. Spezza up high along the boards, and then he got it past Petrie at center. Bouncing puck. Petrie hauls it back in toward Eberle, who's going off for a change.
Stars have to make sure they stay on the right side of the puck here for the final minute. You can see them trying to cheat their way out of their own zone there. Stay below it in your own zone and above it in the attacking zone and get out of this period 3-1.
Arcabello from center. Jokipaka beat him to it. Bain kept it in. Jokipaka moves it. Nikitin keeping the pressure deep in the Dallas zone. Seguin lifting it out of there. Put a little English on it too. Ben chasing Perron. Fain to Hall. And they keep their 2-goal lead.
A lot of ice time for the third pair on defense for the Stars here late in the second period after Tyler Seguin owned the middle frame. Stars win the second period. Remember, that was going to be a huge key at the beginning of the game. Oilers struggle in the first. Stars have had their issues in the third, so a mammoth middle frame for Dallas.
It all starts with Klingberg's pass to Tyler Seguin. Forget about it. And then Jamie Benn to Tyler Seguin. Forget about it. John Klingberg joins Julie at the break. Dallas Stars hockey on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Ford. Just announced the Black Friday sales event at your Texas Ford dealer. Don't wait. It all ends December 1st. By AT&T. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Kids on a 66-goal pace raiser. He had 2 in the middle frame.
He had 2 in the middle frame, but we're going to focus on 2 goals that he scored on liberation passes in our AT&T U-First Rewind. Go back to last game. It was Kari Lettinen that sprung Seguin in behind. Middle frame, long change for a defenseman on the other team. Little tap for the goaltender. And here tonight, Klingberg exposes the Oilers on a sloppy change. He does the rest. Gets the second one of the frame on some diligent work by his buddy on the forecheck. And he has opened up a little gap on Rick Nash and the New York Rangers. 17 goals now for Seguin. Still a period to go in this one.
On the hat-trick watch again, and this is going to be an interesting period, I think, for the Dallas Stars. Roussel will bring it in with Garbett. From the corner, his shot blocked by Nikitin. Cody Eakin. Trevor Daly, he has some room. There's been big patches of room tonight. Eakin swung it back around. Nikitin gave it to Taylor Hall. Hall's pass off the mark for Eberle. Daly crushing it right back across. The Stars have had trouble in third periods and trouble in this building. The ref spoke about a 60-minute effort. See if they can close this one off tonight. Seguin flipped it forward. Eaves takes it down the wing. Ben back in the net. Ben to Seguin. He shoots it. Tip just wide.
They might want to find a way to defend that.
Arcabella to Perron. Letman back of his net. He'll leave it. Goligoski whipped it ahead. Eaves. Rink wide to Ben. The end of a shift. He will accommodate the change.
Well, see how the Stars do that. Last game in the third period against LA, they would get to center, really no farther, and then turn the puck over and get caught changing a lot.
Icing here against Edmonton.
You know, one of the things Lindy Ruff wanted them to do in that game was to stay aggressive on the defensemen of the LA Kings and not allow them to come springing back at them again. And I'm sure he's reminded them once again that, you know, keep a high guy and all the things defensively, but don't lose your aggressive mindset.
Gordon had Spezza tied up. Pinizzotto shoots it in. Letman bangs it off the boards. Hemsky catches up to it at center ice. And the former Oiler shoots it in deep. Fast moves it. Got away. Spezza trying to move it up. Hendricks worked it over. Hemsky to Demers. Trevor Daley into the corner. Call a shot. Pad stop fast. Spezza to Daley, a drive. That hit Call. Goes after the puck and Ferentz. He's twisted up, and the Oilers clear it again. Demers giving chase. Far enough for icing.
Nice long strides by Jason Demers to get that one. So this crew, where the Oilers will have to stay out there. They shortened the bench a little bit, especially defensively. Young Schultz didn't play much in that middle period. Saw a lot of this pair. Petrie and Ferentz. They're going to try to sort this out.
Fiddler beats Gordon. Daley has no lane. Now he shot it. Gordon came out to block it. Chipped it past Moen.
Gordon's played well tonight. I don't think there are very many games that he doesn't play well. It's the same thing when he was with the Phoenix Coyotes.
Demers lugs it to center ice. Fires it around the boards. Got up too high for Fast. Horkoff in the corner. Wrestling with Yakupov again. There's Fiddler. Wanted to turn it out toward Moen. The Oilers come away with it. And that's Yakupov. Good pass ahead. Draisaitl cutting in, and a save there from Kari Letman.
Nice move.
Marinjin shot it. That hit the high part of Kari Letman's stick. Schultz firing. Letman's in position to make the save. Enter for your chance to win 4 tickets to see the Stars, plus an opportunity to play in an on-ice intermission game that just might get you a brand new Kia. For official rules, how to enter, visit DallasStars.com today.
Draisaitl's still a teenager. This is a nice rush set up by a sweet little saucer pass from Yakupov. Able to get around Alexiak, who didn't use that reach and size that he has. That's a big advantage for him. And Draisaitl, who's a large individual, is able to sweep around and get it on the forehand and test Kari Letman.
Young German played Prince Albert in the Western Hockey League for a couple of seasons and went 3rd overall.
Too good to go back there. Now he's in that tough spot in between where he's too good for junior, probably not good enough for the NHL, should be in the American Hockey League, but that's illegal. They can't let the kids go down there. I think there should be a rule where every team has one guy that they say, you know what, his time is done in junior hockey. We're going to put him in the minors to develop him.
The Draisaitl rule.
Oh, the honka for the Stars.
There you go. Roussel a shot and a save from Fast. Roussel tying up 4 Oilers along the boards. Eberle finally emerging with the puck. And Demers hunts it down. Stars changing pass ahead off Seguin. Petrie slugged it around. Ferentz off to Arcobello. Pass it a linesman skate at center. The Oilers regrouping. Perron apparently is onside. Shot it wide of the net. Arcobello tossing it into the corner. Purcell now comes right free to Arcobello, and Letman was there to make the stop.
And Tyler Seguin won his puck battle behind the net and fired that into the high slot half accidentally.
Hemsky takes that away. Hemsky leading the charge into the Edmonton zone. Tried to drop it to Cole. Purcell knocks it out.
They got to go forward here in the 3rd period, especially in that area of the ice. Don't allow this Oiler team to counterpunch.
Marinjin shoots it out. Hemsky rattling it back in. It's changing Oilers.
Yakupov hammered Hemsky right in front of the Oiler bench.
Hemsky in there sniffing around. Yakupov cut off by Spezza. Banked it out to center ice. Hendricks to the Dallas line. Cole shot it right back into the Oilers zone. Payne from center firing it in. Goligoski back of the net. Hendricks comes crashing after the puck. Disrupting things back there. Moen trying to protect it. Draisaitl is sandwiched. There's 5 of them in there chewing it up pretty good. And Fiddler grabs what's left. Jokipaka makes the turn, hammers it off the glass. Moen in a foot race that they give to Nikitin.
Well, the Stars keep forcing the Oilers to come through them, but they're not doing much with the puck. They did too much with it on this one. Little bunt. Seguin expecting it to go to Jamie Benn. Instead nudges it in the high slot to Arcobello. Drills the high chest on Kari Lehtinen, who's been more than solid in this game tonight. The only one to beat him was a shorthanded deflector at the end of the first period.
Shots are 30 apiece. Stars have a 3-1 lead. Goes from Klingberg and 2 from Seguin. Jokipaka able to get Dallas changed. Eberle scooted it toward Nugent Hopkins. Goligoski with the coverage, keeping him wide. There's Hall stepping out, shot it. Eakin stayed with him every step of the way. Nugent Hopkins to Eberle back of the net to Hall. He scores! And the Oilers are within a shot as their big trio comes through here early in the third period.
Well, for me, this kind of started with the high flip by Jokipaka, and then they change, and by the time they change, the top line's out there for the Oilers, and they end up, they're making the job too hard for themselves by not playing with the puck much. They have full control, bing, bang, turn it over again. Sweet feed, my goodness. Encrusted in sugar, that one from Eberle to Hall in front. They go bang, bang, tough one for Kari Lehtinen to read from behind the net. And their big trio has come through for them, and here we go again in the third period.
Hall's team leading 8 from Eberle and Nugent Hopkins, 5:59. And we'll see here. Arcobello into the corner. Perron for Arcobello. We go back into the slot with it. Benn trying to jump past Purcell. Daly left after the puck, and Benn shot it off Purcell, and 4 rows up below us. 6.5 gone in the third period. Oilers making a bid here in Dallas. It's 3-2 Stars. On Fox Sports Live, NHL and NBA highlights. New college football playoff rankings are out. Our experts tell you if the committee got it right. And after signing Hanley and the Panda, Ken Rosenthal has the latest on the Red Sox next move.
Well, the more time that the Stars spend on their side of center ice, the worse this third period is going to go. They're at their best, and they have been at their best in this game when they've had the puck and they've been on the attack and made plays with it. Smart up ice, don't charge everybody down deep, but don't stop playing. It's the biggest cliche in hockey. It's the easiest thing to say and the toughest thing to do for everybody. The Oilers got out of their bad period 1-1. Stars are trying to hang on to what was once a 3-1 lead here in the third.
Bears from center ice firing it in. Lehtinen gloves it down, gives it to Trevor Daly. Purcell in to force the pass. Demers tied up along the boards. Perron shooting it, tipped up high. Benn trying to bull his way up the boards with the puck. Knocked by Perron. Arcobello holding it into Purcell. Trying to step around Demers. Sends it back to the line for Ferentz. A shot. Lehtinen had to come out fighting to get that puck.
It's a smart play by Kari Lehtinen. They're again semi-shambolic in their own zone. Don't get it out just inside the blue line. It's just got to get chipped out. They have to win that area here in the third period. And out of that, they get scrambling a little bit. Harmless shot from distance. Good boxing out on the perimeters, but I mean, it feels tentative here again. They need this line to do what they usually do, but they're straight up against the biggest threat of the Oilers here.
Garbett sailing it toward the Edmonton line. Roussel trying to find it against Fane. There's Taylor Hall. Toss nudges it his way. All weakly up the boards. But they get it forward. Oilers have not had a power play in the game either. Not that they've done much with it on the road this season, but Nugent Hopkins was probing there.
Penalty here.
Against Edmonton.
You see Dallas Eakins just started getting something going, and now this. There's the hook from behind. Under the arm of Klingberg, who's pretty cagey too at age 22. Right on the hands, picks it away. No need for it. It's a penalty. Great chance for the Stars to restore the 2-goal lead.
Third power play of the game. Ben out to Klingberg. Klingberg looking interior and then tossing it over to Ben. Back to Klingberg. For Ben. Shot it. Tip. Went off Fane. Seguin flipped it out, and the bouncing puck unable to be captured by Klingberg at the line. Ben snapped it ahead. Spezza nudges it over to Ben. Left it for Spezza. Arcabello up the boards, and Seguin's pass. Klingberg has to go find it along the wall. Out to Seguin. Stopped it with the skate down to Spezza in the corner. Roussel's in front of the net. There's Ben. Seguin. 2 out for Klingberg. And Petrie clearing it off Ben, who does a very nice job to keep Hendricks from breaking away.
Well, it's pretty evident as Hendricks checks on Ben. It's pretty evident that their forwards, the Oiler forwards, when they're killing penalties, are hyper aggressive on the points. The players that the Stars have just inside the blue line. That's how they scored their shorthanded goal back in the first period. Again, if there's any kind of a bobble or anything, they're going to try to pounce and go and transition the other way.
Second unit on here for Dallas. Daly, Goligoski, Eakin, Eaves, and Ales Hemsky, the former Oiler, looking for his first goal of the season. Goligoski was looking for Hemsky. Purcell finds the puck and sends the Stars back. Midway through the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins penalty.
Be a dangerous guy coming out of the box if they get to that spot.
Goligoski. Down the wing for Hemsky. Shot it around quickly. Daly bolting after the puck. Eaves, Goligoski is shot, tipped wide. Hemsky, back of the net, a collision off to the side, and they're going to rule interference on Trevor Daly.
Ian Ferentz went into the Ice Girls corner over there. The carnage afterwards. Oh, look at this one again. The good pinch by Daly to keep it alive, and as he goes to pursue that, he was just trying to turn back up ice. It was accidental, but it is interference, so Daly will sit, and in 35 seconds they'll get their first crack at a power play tonight. Stars penalty killing. It was a big part of the early going of the game against the Kings here on Saturday, but they still gave up another power play goal. They've given up a power play goal in each of their home games on this home stand in 4 consecutive games overall. This would be a large one when they get to it.
Oilers, though, 2 for 24 on the road this season, contributing to their woes. 4-on-4 here. Nikitin steps past Ben. Nikitin tried to cut to the slot. Klingberg tapped it away. And then he'll start the turn for Dallas. Klingberg up to Seguin at center. Chipping it down the boards. Nikitin shot it out. Klingberg brought it back in offside.
Wouldn't John Klingberg do something else if they go to 3-on-3 overtime next year in the NHL? You know, any type of defenseman like that. Just looking at the juxtaposition of he and Justin Schultz, they're both out here on the ice right now through 2 periods. Schultz only had 5 shifts in that second period, and really short shifts, 30-second shifts for him. Klingberg's got a goal and an assist in his +3.
Yoki pocket. Klingberg has a look. He shoots. Pad stop there from Fost. Ben going back after the puck. Oilers are on the power play in 5 seconds. Seguin buying a little time, and then he shot it off Hall, and I thought
How's that not playing the puck with a high stick?
It was
a whistle and face-off down in Edmonton's zone, and it was on the power play.
It's very strange. Everly getting it in. Perron looking out to the point. And handing it out to the side for Eberle. Here's Schultz shooting it, saved Lettman with the glove.
Right around Perron. I think they missed one there.
They did.
They get a reset anyway. Usually David Perron is all over the opposing goal. How many times did we see him when he was with the St. Louis Blues where he was greasy and effective around the net? There he goes to the front. Tried to get a stick on that. Good vision by Lettman. He's not a big guy, so Lettman could look around him.
Roussel skipped it to the line and Schultz unable to keep it in.
That's a non-confident play by young Schultz at the blue line. You can see that the Oiler defense is trying to play more aggressive here in the third period than they did through the first 40 minutes and hold that attack blue line, especially here on the power play. But creeps over, Stars get a change in, and they get a territorial advantage.
Eakin went forward with the puck. Pass gives it to Schultz. Half a period to play. 3-2 Dallas. 45 seconds left on the Edmonton power play. Nugent Hopkins steaming across the line, firing it around the boards. And Cody Eakin again slugs it out. Here's Hall with purpose to the Dallas line. Giving it to Perron. Into the corner for Eberle. It hopped away from him. Yoki Paka banks it ahead to Fiddler. He'll take the Edmonton Blue against Perron. Fiddler attacking. And still hanging onto the puck deep in the Edmonton zone. Now gets some help from Roussel, who gave it to him, but he's gassed, and he fires it over the top of the net and still is digging after it deep. Now he'll let Roussel battle for it up ice, and the Stars kill that one off. Daly's on.
Big appreciation from the fans here.
Spezza jumped the route on Eberle. Back of the net, Hemsky. And the Oilers are able to clear it. Oleksiak fires it back in.
It's a heck of a shift by Vern Fiddler at the tail end of that penalty kill. He recognized it was a forward back in Perron, so tried him on and kept going rather than just chip it in and ate the final seconds of that power play.
Draisaitl. Backhand shot. Lettman had it, lost it, loose in front, and comes to Klingberg. Flicked it ahead to Benn at center. Trying to beat Nikitin, and he's offside. Ooh. Almost. 8:25 to play in the third. How many of these between the Stars and the Oilers have ended 3-2? It's 3-2 now, Dallas. The Dallas Stars have not trailed in this game. They lead 3-2 with 8:25 to play, and there are no easy nights in the National Hockey League. Even a team like the Edmonton Oilers have struggled. Now find themselves in the game and late. Fane's pass knocked down. Eakin, Garbutt, and Roussel out there for Lindy Ruff. Demers partnered with Trevor Daly. That's Garbutt up the wing. Keeping this top trio deep in the Oilers zone. Schultz kicked it around. Hall to pivot away. Roussel gave him a shot. Schultz, Marincin to Eberle. Garbutt again, keeping them from getting out cleanly.
Border Collies.
And Garbutt stuck out the leg. He's going to go. But not before a word from Eberle and Nugent Hopkins, and Demers jumps in.
Ben is holding a couple of guys at bay, Marincin and Hall, after that collision right on the logo at center ice. Penalty is going to be on Garbutt. It was one of those dangerous leg on legs. Another look at it. Hall turns back against the grain. Garbutt turns back into him. And they clack knees. He got up quickly, which is good news from the Oilers' perspective. 2-minute minor. Tripping or clipping?
Dallas number 16, Trip.
Trip. So the Stars have loaded up this Oiler power play again here. In the third period, they had a dynamic kill with Vern Fiddler taking a lead role in it. And he'll start things out here to the right of Kari Lehtinen.
Vern Fiddler, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in the circle to Kari Lehtinen's right. Nugent-Hopkins has won 16 of 24 draws in the game. Fiddler digging in with him. Perron picked up the goes to the boards. Daly scrambling there, and Fiddler again with good work. He's hooked, and a penalty coming up against the Oilers as Fiddler got it evened out. Third Fiddler's period.
Perron comes over to have words with Fiddler. And so ends the power play, 11 seconds into it. Fiddler with the hustle, hops along the boards, gets after it as he went down. It was a pretty iffy call, but right after that tripping penalty in center ice and Hall being fined, boy, that was just chaos off that face-off. Hustled out of his own. Hustle in spades with Vern Fiddler. The Oiler fans dying a little bit. So this will be interesting in its own right. 4-on-4 because of the penalties and some wide open ice. 2 of the 3 from both of those lines will match up against one another.
Jumped in the circle. Deacon in there battling. And here's Eberle to the Dallas line. Stars are there to defend.
Had this pair out against the Nugent-Hopkins line almost exclusively here in the third.
Roussel catching it at center, chipping it for himself. Schultz arriving first. And the Edmonton Oilers will bring it up. Here's Eberle. Stopped at the line, curled it into Nugent-Hopkins. In for Nikitin, the defenseman, centered it. Demers blocked the pass. Then has the puck. It's a clever little play to lose Eberle. He'll bring it ahead and give it to Ben. Ben takes the line. He's in a battle with Nikitin. It's only play to tap it back out. John Klingberg has a goal and an assist in the game. They give it over to Seguin, but in a tough spot. Petrie passing forward. Ben lurking. Purcell swinging and shot it out. Klingberg to Seguin. Seguin turning forward, gave it to Ben, shot it over the top of the net. Klingberg from the right point. Shot it deep towards Seguin. Ferrin stepped in first. Gave it to Yakupov. Drifting it forward to Petrie to the Dallas line, and pass was behind Purcell, and the Oilers are offside.
Purcell just sent some visual daggers back at Petrie, who's had a rough night. I mean, that puck has to go forward. They've got full speed breaking over the line. And instead, they stop up, and it forces a full change. 4-on-4 just feels dangerous in this situation. Still almost half a minute of it left.
Spezza, Marcapello both swung and missed, and Daly cruising through center ice. Then going after the puck, Daly stays with it. It's forced away by Fane. Eaves went forward. Spezza trying to keep Marincin in check. Eaves over there attacking Perron. Spezza sends it back to Daly. Penalty expires on Garbutt, who's out of the box. Daly finds him. Stars on a brief power play. Garbutt down the wing. Marincin sealing him off. Cole's in there to try and find the puck, and that's Garbutt. Back of the net, Fane wings it around. Hall has it. Oilers are back at full strength as he's back out. Jokipakka with a good pass ahead to spring Cole into the zone. Spezza at the line, tucking it deep. Schultz rear-ended by Cole, and out comes Hall. Hall's alone. He's got Schultz jumping up with him, and Alexiak sends us to our final break. Stars 3, Oilers 2, 5:06 to play in the third period at the American Airlines Center in Dallas.
The situation at American Airlines Center, 5 and change to go, third period. Stars up 3-2, catch you up on the offense in the game. Stars open the scoring from 75 feet. Klingberg with a knuckler that befuddled Victor Fast in net. Then the shorthanded goal juicy rebound off a broken play. Boyd Gordon with that tally, 1-1 after one. Then we renamed the second period the Sagan period as he scored a pair, one on a beautiful liberation pass from Klingberg, another from his buddy from in behind the icing line late in the period. Here in the third, though, the top line for the Oilers, a wonderful three-way passing play between Nugent Hopkins, Everly, and Taylor Hall, who was the finisher. Stars trying to keep the love going against the Oil in Big D. They've won 30 of 39 on home ice all time.
Plays out to Letton's right. Eakins getting some help, and the Stars win it. Roussel pursuing Ferentz and Schultz in the corner. There's Eaves. He's out there with Roussel and Eakin.
Eaves he's basically suspenders in a belt, right? I mean, he's as safe as they come. Plays hard, plays on the right side of the puck, gives you everything he has every shift. Experience, played on winning teams, you name it.
Where do you want him? Just wherever you want him. Back of the net, Eberle centers it. Shot and a save. Letton might have been blocked in front, and on the goal line, Eakin brushed it out of there. Petrie guns it. Nikitin, he had the initial bid, gave it to Petrie at the right point, firing. That's blocked. Eakin stepped in front of it, and Ben clears it out. It's going to be icing against the Dallas Stars, and they survive a very scary moment down there.
Lindy Ruff might have to take his time out here. These guys were out here for a while. He's pondering it, I think, right now. He wants it. Boy, that was a mess. They got away with it. Look at Eakin just hang around, though. He's had a phenomenal game tonight, Cody Eakin. You know, where's it going to end up ultimately? Don't scramble around trying to find somebody. Just stay close to the net. That's where the puck's going to end up. That's where they want to go. Jason Demers was in self-preservation mode as he thought he was going to take that one in the head. Man, that is a game saver, maybe. Right from the start of the game tonight, other than face-offs, and I think those have improved as the game's moved along, he's giving you everything Cody usually gives you when he's playing well. Skate, pursue, on the attack. Started the game in between Sagan and Ben. They've changed the lines as the game's moved along. He's had chances to score, but the biggest part has been his defensive game. Here he is, number 20, comes down, supports his two defensemen in behind the icing line. Away they go in transition the other way. Comes back as a tracker to help out Klingberg defensively on Hall. They get out of Dutch there, and then perhaps a game saver.
Now he's in the circle off the timeout with Arcabello, and they'll do it again.
Just character and getting up to speed too. He missed half a training camp. He's had to deal with an injury that continues to nag. I think he's getting closer to 100% on that front.
He rips that one cleanly into the corner. Eaves along the boards. He'll toss it out. Dallas able to get their change in here.
Good execution there.
Nikitin hands it back. Petrie catching up to it at the Dallas line. Gave it to Perron. Shot it. Blocked. Nikitin shoves it in deep. Purcell to Perron back of the net. Goligoski leaning on him. Ben coming over to help as well. Perron spinning off the hit. Out to Petrie at the line. Shot it. Pad stop. And Kari Letton gathers in the rebound and gets the whistle.
Boy, he had to really reach with the right pad to make the save initially and was very tidy with the rebound afterward. Ben came down deep, got in the shot lane up top. Boy, that deflected off the skate of Klingberg. He had the ice covered. Nobody had the Oiler forward going to the net in the aftermath of that. Been another busy night for Kari. The Oilers are approaching 40 shots.
Gordon's down to one knee. Alexiak tipped it to the boards. Alexiak, Jokipaka out here now with 3.5 to play. Spezza, Hemsky, and Harkov. Well, it's Spezza with the two Oilers here, the former Oilers. And there's Hemsky. Shot it in from the line, fast. Lets it go. Ferentz to Yakupov. Got it out. Jokipaka, Alexiak. They get it in. Draisaitl went bouncing off of Alexiak.
A couple large bodies there.
Here's Ferentz. Yakupov. Send it back. Spain as the Oilers change. 2:45 to play in the third. 3-2 Stars. Eberle to the Dallas line. Hoisting it in deep, stepping past Daly. Collecting the puck, leaving it for Hall. Hall on the interchange, and it's stolen away by Cody Eakin. Eakin ahead to the line. Garbutt goes to the net. Roussel, a shot blocked by a diving Schultz. Oilers would like to counter here. Daly's back to keep Hall away. Put it back in the net for Demers. Gently over to Eakin. He'll use geometry to try and bank that in on goal, and he gets it right to Foss.
Can't do anything wrong right now.
Hall turned over the stick to get it in deep. Goligoski whipped it away to the line. Shot went wide by Marincin. Ben, but Petrie kept it in. Jokipaka out to center. He'll slide it in deep. Foss wanted an icing call. They don't oblige. Eve steals it in front. A shot. Sagan stopped by Foss.
Wow. That was a hat trick right there. Victor Foss wants an explanation from the linesman. It's a real good play by Tyler Sagan in his own zone. Hand-eye coordination as the Oilers pump this in the middle of the ice. He picks that one off. They go in transition the other way. Look at Foss gesticulating in there. Why is this not icing? And everybody quit from the Oilers, especially young Marincin, the defenseman, and allowed that pass in front. Left hand snares the bid from Sagan.
Face-off then to Victor Foss left. 1:45 to play. Nugent Hopkins wins it. Petrie back of his net. Hemsky steals it. Cole trying to keep Eberle bottled up. He does. Walks past Petrie. He bangs with him in the corner. Back of the net, Hemsky. Slides it out to Spezza. Humps it in deep. Cole picked off. Hemsky returning it to Jokipaka at the line. Passing it over. Goligoski finds Spezza. Cranked it over the top of the net. Hemsky keeping this line where they want him in the Oilers zone. This crew of five. It escapes to center, but Jokipaka's out there with Goligoski. They'll come to center ice and shoot it in deep with a minute remaining in the third.
All it takes is one underwhelming play by a defenseman, and Petrie turned that puck over, didn't make a good play with it. They can't get out of their own zone because of that.
Petrie shot it ahead to center. Sagan intercepts. Arcabello was hacking away at him, and he shot it at Victor Foss, who still can't get out of his own net. Arcabello passing over. Here comes Hall. And there goes Foss, sort of, on his way to the Oiler bench. Now he goes. Extra attacker. No, he's backing into his own net again. Now he'll go. Perron from center.
Might as well go.
Oh, I didn't go the first time. He started that way. Daly shoots it out. Long strides from Purcell. And an icing call against Dallas, who does not have their timeout. We'll see what Dallas Aikens wants to do.
There's little doubt he's going to take his and talk over what they want to do with this face-off. Stepping in front of the bench like Victor Tikhonov right now. The late Soviet coach that used to coach from in front of the players. The only guy that I've ever seen, I think probably the only guy ever to do that. So Aikens will draw up their plan. Stars get a chance to talk over their responsibilities here with 19 seconds to go and the Stars up by a goal. Squeeze this one out. You know who's coming out for them. It's just, they're starting to get semblance of being able to team-wide control these games when they're leading in the third period. But, you know, a couple of penalties again tonight. They gave up a goal early on. They haven't really attacked all that much until lately here. So here you go.
18 6/10 to play. Boyd Gordon. On this side with Cody Eakin. Gordon wins it. Nugent Hopkins shot it. Ben came out to block it. Perron back of the net. Tried the cram play. Hit the crossbar. Hall, a shot blocked by Trevor Daly. 10 remaining. Sagan tried to chip it and go, and then he's buried at center ice by Eberle. The Stars fire it down the length of the ice, and one more face-off.
Wow, David Perron Perron came whipping around the net. I think he can do that lacrosse move too, where he can lift the puck up and swing it in. Comes around behind, looks out in front, curls. Jeez. Kari Lehtinen could hear it. That's when he shrugged so violently. Bottom part of the crossbar and stayed out.
Seguin and Gordon. Seguin wins it into the corner. Perron shot it off the back of the net. The Stars beat the Oilers. They got a 3-game win streak.
Well, it unfolded exactly the way we thought it would. Stars won the second period and won the game. Tyler Seguin with a pair. Klingberg was great. Kari Lehtinen put on a bit of a goalie recital throughout this one here tonight. They get outshot 37-34. I think a lot of guys had a hand in this one. Lindy Ruff was able to juggle lines around mid-game, and it sprung a couple of goals and another victory here on home ice during this homestand.
Fourth game of a 5-game homestand, and the Stars finally put 3 wins together this season as they beat the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. John Klingberg again shines, a goal and a helper, and Tyler Seguin scores twice, including the game winner in the second period. Stars are ready for battle again, and the Minnesota Wild are here on Friday night. Until then, more now. For Razor and the rest of the gang, I'm Ralph Strangis. Post-game show is coming up now.